Welcome into this Wednesday edition of the Oxford Exxon Podcast. Chase Parham and Neal McCready, Clark Ford studio. I had to check with Neal. I was going to say it was Tuesday. I'm screwed up on days. It feels like this thing has been a month, and it's been like
I wasn't going to argue with you.
So we're here, first afternoon podcast. Again, guys, we'll give you as much heads up as we can on when we're going to be doing these things. I don't know. We're trying to figure it out. I assume tomorrow will be normal time.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
And then Friday we'll have to do something.
Okay. So we'll figure it out. But we'll try to keep you entertained, try to give some normalcy in your life as we've teased the last couple of days. We've got one or two quick things, and then we're going to talk Days of Thunder for a little while today. We're going to deep dive into it a little bit. Again, we're pretty much ripping off the rewatchables, but that's okay. I'll even give them a link or something if they'd like, just to stay away from lawsuits, because anything with some liability right now would not be good for your boys over here. So we'll talk about that and more of on the show. It's brought to you for day by the Oxford Exxon, Highway 6 West in Oxford. You can use the Oxford Crystal for drive-through and those capabilities. Again, trying to stay with the people that are open still around town. They're trying to keep everybody safe and still serve food. So take advantage of that out on Highway 6 West and more. And again, coming to you from the Clark Ford studio.
We are. Clark Ford is in Amory, Mississippi. 662-257-1900 is the number. Call it. Ask for Corey Clark. Tell Corey what Ford product you're looking for. He'll send you a quote within 15 minutes in business hours. It's right to the bottom line. There's no hassle. There's no haggle. You get your quote, and the rest is up to you. Corey wants to be a car guy. He wants to be a truck guy. He'll prove it to you. 662-257-1900. Guests, join us on the Rafters Music and Food Hotline. Today at 5, starting at 5 p.m., Rafters will be providing free takeout meals at today. Chicken tenders, sandwiches, shrimp po' boys, catfish plates. You can call ahead or stop by 662-234-5757. They'll be serving it out of their window. It's an effort to help the community and also use up the groceries and products that they have there in the store, because obviously we live in a changing, somewhat depressing time. But that's a really cool gesture on the part of Hudson and the people there at Rafters to do that today. So again, that number, 662-234-5757. They'll probably start taking calls around 4:30 is what I was told. So if you're calling right now, no one's going to answer. But if you call that number at about 4:30, they'll do what they can do.
Yeah. So what was it? Was it Andy Kennedy? You say the world we live in? We were in the world
that was
we
Houston
live in.
Nutt.
Oh, Houston Nutt.
That was Houston Nutt.
Yeah, I'm getting my former coaches mixed up. Andy and Houston, very similar. The one thing I guess really, I think the only bit of news value here, because frankly, Greg Sankey's teleconference today gave very little news value. They're waiting and seeing on everything. That is the Cliff Notes version of that. Keith Carter did send an email to season ticket holders and other people today saying that they're going to extend the deadline for tickets to April 20th. So going to put that off until April 20th. Payment plans are available for now through August, and then there's basically no risk in renewing it because refund requests will be honored if like health issues or anything persists. So they'll allow you to do that. They will refund it if that is deemed necessary, and everything has been put off until April 20th. I know a lot of people had questions about that.
Yeah.
So there is an extension to that deadline. That went out in an email to people here in a little bit. So that's where we're sitting there. Neal, it's 2:04 at the moment. What are you drinking? What are we doing?
I'm having Modelo with lime.
Modelo with a lime.
Yeah, I'm not prepared to go with.
Is that a usual occurrence for you? Modelo with a lime?
Sometimes. I just grab some beers. If I'm totally honest, yesterday when I saw where Pennsylvania was closing all liquor stores, and then I saw where Chicago was doing the same, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go make a beer run.
Just in case.
Yeah. I was buying cases of beer and putting them in the back of the truck.
Yeah, because I called Neal. For a reason that doesn't matter for the podcast, I have an abundance of Captain Morgan right now, and I called Neal and I said, "Hey, you drink Captain Morgan?" He's like, "Nah, but you know what? Who knows what's going to happen? Yeah. We'll take a bottle or two." So
by the middle of the summer, there's no telling.
Yeah, it's like we'll play a version of cocktail, probably a movie we'll get to at some point. We might just start doing some ingredients, doctoring it up a little bit here as we go. So I don't know where this thing's going to go, because obviously I don't think we can talk about Days of Thunder for an hour and 20 minutes, but we'll hit it for a little while, and then if you got stuff in the live stream or whatnot, just hang out. It's basically a Friday podcast, hand raised guys without the calls all at the same time today. I think it's kind of where we are. when I was walking out today, I brought Russell's Reserve 10-year with me. If you're a Bourbon South listener, it was the one we sampled from High Cotton with Matt Moscona a few weeks ago. So that is with me here for a 10-year bourbon. Good price, one of the better 10-year ones you will find out there from a value standpoint.
What is the price on that typically?
I don't remember exactly. I'm gonna guess about $35.
Oh, okay.
Something like that.
That's really good.
Yeah, because this season we're mostly trying to do things you can find. Try not to get crazy with some of the unicorn type alcoholic beverages. So I saw that you watched Days of Thunder yesterday afternoon. I turned it on around 8:15 last night, something like that.
Yep.
We'll dive into it. It's 1990 American sports action drama film, as everybody's aware of. Directed by Tony Scott, who's done a lot of cruises, action stuff. There's a big time Top Gun feel to this movie, as we'll get into as we go. It's Tom Cruise, Nicole Kidman, Robert Duvall, Randy Quaid, Cary Ellis, Caroline Williams, Michael Rooker playing in this one. The first of 3 movies between Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman. I think it's where they met. Then they
met on Days of Thunder.
Yeah, I think they met on Days of Thunder, and then they Far and Away. Remember that one? They were in Far and Away together, and then once they were together, they did Eyes Wide Shut, which is a freaky, crazy.
That
movie.
Is a weird movie.
Yeah, it's a weird one. We will not be doing Eyes Wide Shut here on this.
Thank you.
This here Potato Log podcast. So 1990. We'll get into some trivia in a little while. We'll get into a lot of things, but essentially, it's a movie that it's lucky it ever got made. There were production issues. There were delays where a lot of days the scenes weren't even scripted. They'd fight over the script every morning, making everybody wait up to 20 hours on some days. I mean, had all sorts of problems. It ends up, though, having a budget for 1990, a huge budget, $55 million, but it brought home $157.9 million worldwide in the box office. It started out really poor, but longevity, and obviously it's still making residual money right now because it has become somewhat of a cult classic. It is based on at least loosely based on some real characters. Tim Richmond, the NASCAR driver.
They did a 30 for 30 on.
Yes. He actually ended up passing away. He had AIDS.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. He died of AIDS, I'm pretty sure. And then
if not, our apologies to the Richmond family.
I'll look it up in a minute, but I'm pretty sure I'm correct on that. Sorry, that might be off to a really bad start. It's just one of those days.
Deeply apologize. He did, thank God.
He did.
Yeah. Thank God.
Harry Hyde is also who Harry Hogue is after, and then Rick Hendrick, obviously still Hendrick Motorsports. That's well known, probably the top owner in NASCAR history. Jimmy Johnson, Jeff Gordon, 2 of the main guys that have raced under Hendrick Motorsports. So that's a little bit of an update on where we are here. I watched this movie, and we're going to go through a ton of it, but this is a movie that when I was young, I kind of look back to I want to almost call my mother and go, why'd you let me watch this at that age again? Because, I was less than 10 years old. It came out when I was 7 years old, and I would essentially dress up to watch it. I was a kid. Everybody, did that. If I'm watching Three Amigos, I'm on a horse with a cowboy hat on. If I'm watching Days of Thunder, I've got like a motorcycle helmet on. I've got like a raincoat that I probably wrote Mellow Yellow on or something. But there were several scenes where I went, that was bad parenting.
Yeah.
I'm kind of wondering here, because
there was some adult content.
There's a lot of adult content, including the one where he is teaching Nicole Kidman about drafting and using sweet and low packets very high on the inner thigh as he's doing this. And I'm going, there's a little bit whatever. So I've seen this movie. I mean, realistically, I've seen this movie 100 times. Mr. McCready watched it for the first time yesterday. I know your mood has changed in the last week. So what were the initial thoughts?
Oh, I really liked it. And a lot of that is, I told you this, a lot of that is right now, everything else out there is so negative and so scary and so unknown, and we've never experienced it before. And so there's a certain degree of uncomfortability. And this was this was comfortable. Knew all the people. The only thing that threw me off in terms of characters, well, no, I mean, I'm very forgiving on movies like this. I don't expect it to be completely realistic from a racing standpoint and all that. Randy Quaid, to me, after all of these years, is Cousin Eddie.
Oh.
And so every time that I see him, I have to remind myself, no, that's not Cousin Eddie. This is a new.
You're trying to put him in that character.
Well, I was trying not to put him in that character.
Saying, but your mind, mentally, you go
in
there.
my mind, he's funny and a jokester, and in this, he's pretty serious character.
Serious, probably, maybe not the real word, but I'll tell you. I mean, again, we'll go through a good bit, but Cary Ellis, who plays Russ Wheeler in this movie, I watch it, and every time I go, they just couldn't afford Val Kilmer, right? Because he's playing the same character. He even kind of looks like him a little bit. For a lot of people that kind of have their eyes squinted, you think it is Val Kilmer. It's like Iceman over here playing the villain or whatever. Doesn't ever actually get along with him toward the end of the movie. But I look at it and I went, okay, that's where they save money. They couldn't afford him. They went this direction because this movie does. It has such a Top Gun feel to it. Came out several years later. Even the music, the score, which same people, but the score is so similar. I mean, I think you could literally take the music from one, the other, put them in the same kind of scenes when they're in the air or whatever. And I was laughing because Tom Cruise, he plays the same character in a lot of ways, because when he gets back in the car after the injury and the wreck, and he's back in the Superflow car, and he ends up burning his motor up on purpose, he's panicking on the radio, and I went, it's the exact same scene is at the end of Top Gun.
You're right.
When he's panicking to get when Val Kilmer's going, re-engage, damn it, and whatever, and trying to come back in it. He was the same character. It was the exact same scene at that point.
In Top Gun, spoiler alert, he had lost Goose. And so he was back up in the air and he was all freaked out. You're right. Exact same storyline.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about that.
Him re-engaging and holding the dog tags in the air from Top Gun was the same thing in Days of Thunder when he drove through the wreck. And then once he got through the wreck, he was fine.
All good.
Yeah, he got through the lane. They said, no, just stay high, drive right through. And
in fairness,
here we go.
In fairness to Cole Trickle, going through that smoke right there, knowing there's a big wreck, not knowing what you're going to hit or if you're going to hit something would be a little disconcerting. Especially after you'd had a terrible accident like the one that he had.
So, start
right?
here. Yeah. And I've got so much here. I've got stuff written down. But he ends up, the climax of the movie, I know some people watched it with us yesterday, is he ends up racing Rowdy Burns' car at Daytona. He gets in the middle of a yellow car, let them keep their sponsor, trying to save everybody. At no point to that time had Rowdy been anything near a redeeming quality toward Cole Trickle. Why? Why would you feel that obligation to him? They could not. There was nothing in that script other than it was just a way back in a race car. As far as an actual personality thing with Rowdy Burns, there was nothing that should have been obligatory for Tom Cruise or Cole Trickle in that spot.
The only thing they'd kind of bonded over having the accident together where Burns got the brain injury.
No, she wanted it to be done.
Yeah. She wanted him to hang up the helmet.
What's your favorite scene in the movie?
Favorite scene in the movie. Had a lot.
Okay.
I liked the one with the drafting on the leg because it was a foreshadowing of how he won the race.
It was for a relative term of Days of Thunder, it was pretty good writing.
Yeah.
Relative to the rest of the movie, it was pretty good writing.
Because he went inside, pardon the pun.
He did.
Because he normally clearly has lost his mind. They didn't have, that's where the writing failed a little bit and you had to really take a leap. How did he get from the place where he'd completely lost it, where he's ramming his car into the back of some stranger and then racing in a parking garage, to he's mentally well enough to go race the Daytona 500? That was a bit of a stretch.
Well, she's not a psychiatrist. It was not her job to clear him from a mental capability.
No.
All she did was run the little thing up the foot and make sure it didn't turn upward. That apparently was a big deal in this.
Yeah, it was a big deal. Yeah, there was a leap of credulity. Nicole Kidman, the brain doctor.
We'll get to that.
Right. I mean,
so looking at where they are in their careers at this point, kind of backing up a little bit. Tom Cruise, he went a long time without much. I mean, he's been easy to make fun of since he jumped on Oprah's couch, and he's had an interesting last 15, 20 years. But from the standpoint of being on a run, and I get there's a couple clunkers, even though they become somewhat of cult classics and whatever in here.
I did forget the state trooper stripper scene was good. That was good.
Here is his 10-year run. Tom Cruise filmography over a 10-year period from 86 to 96. And again, not all of these were going to be commercial hits at the time, but for its staying power, movies that are still in our consciousness. So, The Color of Money, Cocktail, Rain Man, Born on the 4th of July, Days of Thunder, Far and Away, A Few Good Men, The Firm, Interview with a Vampire, Mission Impossible, Jerry Maguire.
It had a hell of a run.
There's a 10-year for you right there. I mean, that's about as good as you can get. I mean, in an era, too, where we had movie stars. He was the movie star from that time period. Because we talk about this, because of streaming services, we don't have movie stars like that anymore. That was a big podcast topic 1 or 2 days we've done over the years. But this was in the heyday of 80s to 90s, popcorn action flick, summer movies, and actual movie stars, and he fit all those bills.
I will say he carried Kidman more than she carried him in this film. I had higher expectations for Nicole Kidman.
And see, it's interesting you say that, because it's kind of, we'll go ahead and do this now. I thought that she kind of found herself a little bit, pretty much right there when you talk about her yelling at him to get out of the car.
Yeah.
And then when she's pretty forceful with Burns and some of that stuff, I thought that she had a really good 2 to 3 scene arc that kind of lifted her right there. Because I'll be honest, as far as Bill Simmons does this thing called kind of who won the movie, as in like who remember or whatnot, or what makes it. I think it's almost important. Again, now the first half of the movie, Robert Duvall wins it. He's the winner of the movie overall.
Yes, absolutely.
And in the first half.
Absolutely.
But from the second half, I do think she punches her own weight pretty good during that part of the film.
I didn't like the ending with it was. You knew he was going to win the Daytona 500. Now, the one thing that kind of bothered me a little bit, and I normally don't hang all trying to win the damn thing. Someone should have been in his ear saying, "Hey,
we don't have to win.
If a second place finish here is really good. You're gonna get
a ride, and he's gonna be okay.
If he ever gets to ride again, he's gonna get a ride, or you might get this ride permanently. But if you spin out against the wall right here, you're toast, and you're screwing this guy who's not really your friend anyway, but who's counting on you and told you, hey, my family is counting on you." There was a little bit there where I was like, you're being a little aggressive for the moment here.
But that was him.
Yeah. I mean, that was his deal.
Well, there's a little bit of reality, too, of, okay, so what do we know about this? We know that he sucked at the beginning. We know that he wins the race, and they come over the PA and go, the hottest young driver in history, Cole Trickle, has won 5 of the last 6 races.
Oh, yeah,
He's hot as a firecracker. I think it might have been the Firecracker 400 that he wrecked in.
Right.
He comes back, and he might have sucked for a little while, but then he wins Daytona. Let's stop acting like somebody ain't giving that dude a car.
Right.
That dude had a lot of chances at that point.
Yeah.
He could have wrecked that day, and the next week, Pepsi's still calling, going, hey, jump in our race car. We'll make this work.
But if he finishes...
You also look like Tom Cruise.
Yeah, but if he finishes second, he's going to be all right. Especially now that he's overcome his post-accident deal.
I'll get to this with trivia in a little while. You know that they had so much problems, as I mentioned, in production, they did not film the car crossing the finish line.
Really?
Yeah, at the end of the race.
How'd they do it?
I don't know. They forgot to film it. I don't know what they did. I don't know how it worked, but they forget that of all the stuff they filmed, they forgot to film the car crossing the finish line. Oh, it's a miracle this movie ever got made.
$55 million to make it?
Yeah, $55 million.
Because they went through a lot of trade and paint.
Yeah, I'll get to that too.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of that. So, plenty more to go.
Is a NASCAR race still to this day that, for lack of a better term, physical?
Oh God, no! It wasn't even then. No. That was the race car version of in Rocky movies where we just do nothing but throw left hooks the entire time.
Gotcha.
Yeah,
okay.
That's what that was. Now it used to be a whole lot more outlawish and more like that than now, obviously. But no, nowhere near that. So we'll continue the conversation in 1 second. First, I'll tell you, if you're injured, not sure where to go, no matter where you are, Special Orthopedic Group has you covered with 3 convenient locations in Tupelo, Oxford, and New Albany. No referral is needed to schedule an appointment with one of SOG's fellowship-trained, subspecialized surgeons at any one of the 3 locations with 24-hour scheduling. SOG makes it easy to accommodate you. Call 767-4200 to request an appointment on their website at www.sogms.com. Special Orthopedic Group. Choose a specialist. Choose SOG.
Friends Blue Delta Jeans is open for business. They've spent the last 8 years building a Mississippi-based brand with reach across the nation, and they do not intend to slow down for anything. They know that this week most people are focused on buying toilet paper and peanut butter, but if you find yourself needing a new pair of Blue Deltas, check out the new website at bluedelta.com. We can also tell you can use bluedeltajeans.com. Either one works. There you can build and buy a jean, choosing from over 50 fabrics, nearly limitless customization options from till March 23rd, which is Monday. They're offering listeners of this podcast a $200 discount for purchases made on the website. One of my really good friends did it last night. All you got to do is enter the word POD at checkout, P-O-D, $200 off. So for those of you who've said, man, I don't want to spend $400 on a pair of jeans. I've had people say this to me. I don't want to spend $400 on a pair of jeans, but I'll spend $200. Well, here you go. Here's your chance. Enter POD at checkout. Whether you buy peanut butter or blue jeans this week, Blue Delta wants you to know that they appreciate you, they appreciate us, they appreciate you for their support over the years. They look forward to getting back to sports. We're also brought to you by the Iron Horse Grill. It's a perfect place to enjoy lunch, dinner, or Sunday brunch in Jackson. Keep this in mind as we go through this trying time. We will get through it, and when we do, on the other side, a lot of people are going to have big parties, galas, graduation celebrations that are probably going to be late, rehearsal dinners, wedding receptions on weddings that have gotten bumped into the fall or into the winter. Already going to be stressful enough. If you want someone to take care of your off-site full catering services, your beverage catering for the parties that we just talked about, the Iron Horse Grill is your answer. It's a one-stop shop. They can handle beverage services for a 250 to 500-person wedding, or even a 3,500-person gala. It's one of the largest beverage caterers in Mississippi. It can service the entire state. So call Sarah Black at 601-398-0151 for your catering needs and knock that off your worry list and let the Iron Horse Grill make your event one that is memorable forever. Don't just accept what you see, but imagine something new, step forward, and chase after a better version of yourself. Every day, Corinth Dental is helping people reinvent themselves one smile at a time. Dr. Bubba McQueen, Dr. Jenny Beth Hendrick are devoted to restoring and enhancing the natural beauty of your smile using conservative state-of-the-art procedures, including Invisalign. These clear aligners are the virtually invisible way to improve your smile. Call Corinth Dental today for a no-cost digital scan of your teeth. Let them show you the way to a straighter, healthier smile. 12 months, no interest, no down payment financing available at corinthdental.com.
Podcast is brought to you by Visit Oxford. Visit oxfordms.com. You can head on over to their site. They've got how to support Oxford in COVID-19 and plenty more options. So, again, just head over, check it out if you're of interest. They find different ways to let you know what's going on in town and ways to get what you need during this situation right now. So, again, visit oxfordms.com/events. They make a good point in the live stream with the game they played on him.
But the highway patrolman was so much hotter than her. She was scorching. Where did she go in the film? Bring her back.
You'd rather kept seeing her.
Yeah.
Yeah, because she was on there like 10 seconds.
I mean, they missed an opportunity there because we could have had a little scene there that would have kind of added a little spark to the show where she said they thought you might like me. Hand raised.
So what? So then
I liked her.
I guess what I'm going is it had to work for the movie, but Tom Cruise looks like Tom Cruise. He's the hottest NASCAR driver and whatever.
Yeah, come on.
And he falls for a neurosurgeon in another state.
Yeah.
He's living in North Carolina. She's from Daytona.
Oh, she has a name. Let me pull her up.
Who?
Leilani Ferrer.
I'm sure she has a name.
Well, I didn't know her name.
What's her name?
Leilani Ferrer.
Oh, so you're looking her up?
Sammy gave. Yeah, I'm going to Google. What else do I have to do?
Okay, that's fine.
Oh, yeah. That's her.
How old is she now?
Oh, I was looking at the images.
It was not on the Wikipedia page.
Oh, wow. She's older than me. She's 54. 53. She'll be 54 in September. She has 3 children.
Speaking of Nicole Kidman,
It's 5'6.5".
Oh, okay. Thanks. I figured you were going to say other measurements. She did not parlay this into much for a while. So she'd been in a lot of stuff that, frankly, nobody's going to much know. She gets in Days of Thunder. She follows that up, though, with Flirting, Billy Bathgate, Far and Away, Malice, My Life, Batman Forever, To Die For, The Portrait of a Lady, The Peacemaker, Practical Magic, before Eyes Wide Shut and Moulin Rouge. I mean, there's not much there. I mean, it's almost kind of interesting because, look, I mean, she's had some stuff since then. She's been okay. It's been whatever. But in a lot of ways, and for a long time, she was more known as kind of being married to Tom Cruise, now being married to Keith Urban. I mean, it's
oh, yeah, she is.
It's one of those deals where she was not able to capitalize on that much. She was still kind of on people's coattails for a good portion of the decade. So I don't know. I in my head, she did more than that. But then when I actually look at it, I go, well, maybe not. There's not much there.
Maybe that's why I was expecting more.
Maybe he just really liked accents.
She does have a good accent.
She's smart, Neil.
She is very smart. She's a neurosurgeon.
Yeah. He might need one day.
Well, he probably needed one a long time ago. He's a psychopath.
He's a psychopath.
He is. Cruise is weird.
Just in general?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Like, don't you think if you sat down and had dinner with Tom Cruise 5 minutes into it, you'd be like, check. I got to get out of here.
Oh, you think so? You don't think he'd be interesting at all?
I don't think so. I think
you think he's empty up here?
Yeah, he's so self-consumed, and I have a feeling that the head is empty.
Really?
There's nothing there. Yeah. As opposed to Nicole Kidman, I would think would probably be pretty fascinating to sit and talk to.
Yeah, I would assume the character in the movie that I watched, and when I need to look her up because I have no idea who she is, but I can tell she got in this hoping it would turn into something, was Caroline Williams, who played Rowdy Burns' wife in like the one or two scenes.
Yeah.
Like nothing. Like you look at her filmography, and it is impressive because she's been active for years, and you've heard of nothing she's been in. Like never could do anything to move up. I mean, we're talking about like one or two episodes and tons of TV series.
Well, like when Tom Cruise comes in and he's in there back in the back playing pool and he's popping aspirin or whatever goodies.
Yeah.
She's on the chair, the baby's
Where he's like, I
crying.
can fix it right here, and he
slams
the pool
she's on the chair and the baby's crying on her shoulder, and she looks.
Let's see what potentially could be going on.
How did we get here? There was another request to take a leap, and I did it because it was like this is so much better than CNN. I'm in. But looking back on it, they could have established a little more storytelling there.
I fully am all in and believed Robert Duvall is a crew chief the entire movie. I'm in. Yeah. I'm good. I have no problems.
Absolutely.
I'm in.
Absolutely.
I mean, from being on the tractor at the very beginning when the car owner or the car dealership on Randy Quaid comes in all the way through.
If you tell me draw up a 1990s NASCAR crew chief, he would look like him. He would sound like him and act like him.
And he'd wear that old faded American flag hat everywhere he went.
Yeah, everywhere he went.
Who's the worst actor in this movie?
Ooh.
Or sorry, what actor gave the worst performance in this movie? Because I don't think it's close.
You think it's Rowdy?
I think it's Rowdy by a landslide.
Yeah.
I thought Michael Rooker was bad in this movie.
Yeah, he was not good. And the guy that came in and played the character that
Russ Wheeler.
Yeah.
Cary Elwes.
He wasn't.
I think that's how you pronounce it. ELWES.
He wasn't particularly good either. He didn't do much for me.
Cruise is fine.
Cruise is fine. Duvall's the big winner. Quaid's really good when you get past the.
It's a bit role, and like this is by far the winner. Like Simmons does this thing called the Dion Waiters Award, which is like somebody who comes in with a heat check, hits a couple threes, and is gone. It's John C. Reilly. Does a great job in a limited role playing the other crew member or whatnot. Yeah. Brotherton's son or whatever.
Yeah.
Does a really, really good job with that.
I enjoyed it. It was good. It was perfect for our start.
Was it?
Yeah. Been somber 3 days, man. Holy shit.
You just needed something to.
Yeah. Kind of was good. I liked it. I'd give it a solid grade. I'm 2 for 2 on movies this week.
Oh, you're
Mr. Rogers, and now Days of Thunder. I've had a good week.
We're going to stay in comedy. I'm not done with Days of Thunder yet, but we're going to stay in comedy. We've got Fletch coming next. Chevy Chase, 1970s-ish. I don't know, something like that. We'll get to it. So, a few things here, and we'll get to trivia, too. Nicole Kidman getting a chance to play that character. Smart, obviously romantic lead. 1990, though, as much as I want to bash on this movie, and this isn't really the point, giving the main female character opposite Tom Cruise an occupation, intelligence, that frankly was pretty good for 1990. Something we'd see today and we're used to.
Yeah.
But looking back, that was probably a pretty big move because you don't see that a lot in that time period where, hey, that female lead is by far smarter than Tom Cruise, by far smarter, more mature, everything else. It's him having to give up to her standards. I thought that was interesting from a writing standpoint because it's not necessarily what you would see.
Webb, thank you very much for the super chat donation. We appreciate that. Yeah, we're going to do a call-in show soon. I won't put Chase on the spot here. I've got a thought for here pretty soon.
Oh, do you?
Yeah. Yeah, but you're right. That was probably in 1990. That was a little cutting edge.
Yeah, it's something that we, like I said, now we see it, and it's
you would think nothing of it now.
But back then,
well, it's like now you would never. Someone was making this example the other day, and I can't remember who they were talking about. I guess it was Doug Williams winning the Super Bowl with the Redskins. You know, going into that game, a big part of the storyline was that Doug Williams was black. Now you never say that. No one goes, "Hey, the Panthers just signed Teddy Bridgewater, a black quarterback," or the Texans are really screwing Deshaun Watson, a black quarterback. You don't talk about that anymore. It's understood.
Mm-hmm.
So her getting a role like that was probably a really big deal for other other actresses.
Some trivia that I found pretty interesting for this movie. It was originally conceived by Tom Cruise when he and Paul Newman were allowed to test one of Rick Hendrick's race cars. They allowed the actors to drive the cars and go over 180 miles an hour during a.
Tom Cruise could reach the pedal by himself? Son of a.
Might have had a platform. You don't ever know that, do you?
That's possible.
The scene where Cole leaves the pits after a race to hit Russ Wheeler is actually based on an actual event during the 1987 All-Star race at Charlotte between Bill Elliott and Dale Earnhardt. A lot of stuff like that, actually. One of the one where they're eating the ice cream, that's actually something they took from a real race one time. Yeah. That one is real. Tom Cruise wanted Kurt Russell for the role of Rowdy Burns. However, it was also how Russell became aware of Backdraft through Cruise because Kurt Russell ended up doing Backdraft. Frankly, might be one we end up doing at.
I've seen Backdraft. I'd watch it again, but I saw it in the actual movie theater.
Did you really?
Yeah.
That was around that same time period, 1990,
so.
1991, something like that. All the cars used in the movie for the actual races had to pass inspection and qualify. Bobby Hamilton qualified one of the movie cars in the top 10. They removed the cameras, and he was allowed to enter the race.
Really?
In the car. Yeah, they actually raced several of the cars in real events to film them as like unpoints awarded or whatever. They weren't particularly competitive, but they were able to get the filming. I think it said Dale Earnhardt, who won one of the races they were in, lapped them several times. But they were actually get in there and I think run 100 laps or 50 laps or something like that to get the footage that they needed.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. So it says that while it did make money originally, it said the film's disappointing box office performance was responsible for destroying the relationship between Paramount and super producers Don Simpson and Jerry Bruckheimer. After the film underperformed in the summer of 90, the studio angrily responded in two ways. They insisted on an impossible lowball budget for a planned third edition of Beverly Hills Cop, and they asked Simpson and Bruckheimer to give Paramount $9 million of their own earnings for the movie to defray losses. The producers responded by telling Paramount they were done working there and ended up at Disney via Hollywood Studios. So it ended the long-term relationship with those guys who made them a ton of money over the course of their efforts. So there's that. I had a couple other things here that I had written down. Even the which was one of the dumber scenes of the movie, the one where they destroy the rental cars on the way to dinner. That also is taken from an actual event.
Really?
Back in the 50s. said, NASCAR superstars Joe Weatherly and Curtis Turner, each of whom are known to rent cars, race, and crash them with abandon.
Oh, wow.
So it was a bit of an homage to NASCAR. They took a lot of stuff.
Well, that's kind of cool.
You like that?
Yeah, that's kind of cool. I thought that was like, give me a break.
No.
I did like the valet sitting and looking at him like, what do we do with these?
City Chevrolet is actually a dealership owned by Rick Hendrick.
Okay.
Yeah, that's something that is real there. So, a lot of stuff. Yeah, this thing is full of trivia and just weird stuff. Like, I would definitely read, and there might be one out there somewhere, one of those oral histories of this movie where if you had everybody tell me stories and take me back through it, because I bet it was insane. It says, in Daytona, Simpson and Bruckheimer spent $400,000 to have a vacant storefront in their hotel converted into a private gym. $400,000. With a large neon sign reading Days of Thunder. Simpson also kept a closet full of Donna Karan dresses to offer the attractive women his assistants found on the beach. And he held private parties with friends like rapper Tone Loc. They threw a special welcome party for the crew at a local nightclub with minimal food and drink and no music, but plenty of hookers they flew in, most of whom they limited to a roped-off VIP area with themselves and Tom Cruise. Where was Hand-Raised Guy when this movie is being made?
So Tom Cruise was partaking in the...
This is from IMDb. If it's wrong, who knows? Because anybody, I think, can do this, but it's what it says.
Just massages, right?
I just thought more of a waitress type situation is what we had going here. According to, and I don't believe this, but it's always good for comments, the role of Claire Lewicki that Nicole Kidman ended up with, because it's very likely she was not the first choice. However, I don't know that I agree with this list.
Okay.
This would amaze me. All of these people turned down the role of Claire Lewicki per IMDb. Kim Basinger, Sandra Bullock, Allison Doody, Jodie Foster, Sarah Jessica Parker, Heather Locklear, Madonna, Michelle Pfeiffer, Molly Ringwald,
Madonna,
Julia Roberts, Meg Ryan, Brooke Shields, Ali Sheedy, and Sharon Stone.
Wow.
I don't buy all of them. I'm sure some are probably true. Different movie with some of those people.
Yeah, go through those again, because I'll tell you which ones I could see would fit and which ones would have complete.
Kim Basinger.
Yeah, that would have worked.
Sandra Bullock. This is 1990. This is a different Sandra Bullock.
Would have been a stretch.
She could play the intelligent doctor, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go there.
Yeah.
I don't know Allison Doody.
No.
No idea. Jodie Foster, I would see her in so many different roles. I couldn't make that connection in my head.
She's so much, to me, more of a dramatic actress than this.
I don't buy Sarah Jessica Parker.
No.
Heather Locklear.
Yeah, that would have, yeah.
Madonna.
No.
Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yes.
Yeah, you could go there. Molly Ringwald. No.
No, I don't think so.
Julia Roberts. Nicole Kidman is the better version of Julia Roberts for this movie.
Okay. I could
buy that.
I'll buy that.
Because Julia Roberts has tons more presence on screen
than Kidman. Yes. Yeah.
Meg Ryan.
She actually might have been really good in this.
Probably too good.
Maybe so good that it would have overshadowed Cruise.
Sharon Stone.
Yeah, I think she would have fit too.
Brooke Shields.
1990 Brooke Shields. I'm trying to think where she would have been at that moment.
I think she's been really good.
I kind of do too.
I'm good there. And then Ali Sheedy. One of the Brat Packers.
Yeah, maybe.
You're okay there?
Yeah.
Can make that work.
I got distracted.
What are you watching?
ESPN's been doing, I think they're getting ready to release The Last Dance, the Michael Jordan thing that was going to come out in June. Yeah. I think ESPN's like, screw it. Let's put it out now.
All our content.
Yeah. and so there's been a lot of Jordan content in the last 2 or 3 days, and it was, I tell you, Carson and I were in the car yesterday, and we were coming back, and we were listening to the radio broadcast of the Jazz Bulls Game 6, Jordan's last title.
Yeah.
And it was fun to watch Carson listen to
when
it.
When he pushed off.
Yeah, when he pushed off Byron Russell.
Yeah.
Because he's hearing all these names. that
And
he knows.
He can put the
he's hearing Steve Kerr and all these different names, and he's like, "Wow, I bet that was a really fun thing." And I was like, "Yeah, it was pretty cool."
Yeah, that was all right.
Yeah, and so I told him, he's like, "Did you watch this?" I said, "Oh yeah, I watched it." And he said, "Did Mommy watch it?" And I said, "I made her watch this game."
Really?
Yeah, and he said, "Why?" And I said, "Because I told her that you're watching greatness at the end of its arc, and that you needed to see it." And I remember telling her, I said, "Because one day you'll have a kid who will wonder if you watched this game, and you'll be glad that you did." And then I flashed forward 20-something years to this conversation with Carson where he's listening to it going, "Oh, wow, that's cool."
Yeah, I can buy that. The podcast brought to you in part by Tyson Drugs and G&M Pharmacy. With G&M, they deliver locally in the Oxford area to your home or workplace. They also offer MedSync to fill your prescriptions all on the same day every month to make it easy on you to get what you need when you need it, especially in today's trying times as far as getting out and about and finding those items. 662-236-2222.
The podcast is also brought to you by Dead Soxy. Dead Soxy knows these are uncertain times. They understand that oftentimes advertisers do everything imaginable to garner your attention away from the worries of the world, as if they have some magic potion that will solve a problem in your life and help you forget about everything else. While they would love to solve your sock problems, they do realize that may fall on deaf ears, or as some would say, it's tone deaf. No tricks, no gimmicks. Dead Soxy wants you to be comfortable down to the socks you're wearing. They want to kick this pandemic out of the world, and they have the right socks to do it in. Visit deadsoxy.com. Use the promo code RebelGrove at checkout to receive 30% off all orders. Stay safe and stay soxy. We're also brought to you by Nest and Wild. Sleep better with the Nest and Wild mattress. Nest and Wild is a Mississippi-based mattress company making a high-quality mattress delivered right to your door. They make buying a new mattress easy. Every Nest and Wild is 1 foot thick, giving you comfort and support that will last. A lot of online brands sell an 8-inch or 10-inch mattress with less support and durability. But from the twin size to the California King, every Nest and Wild mattress is 1 foot thick, 100% American made, and the pricing is excellent. We'll make it even better with a podcast discount. When you go to checkout, nestandwild.com, enter the podcast code REBEL20, REBEL20, get 20% off your purchase. That mattress, which comes with a 99-night no-risk decision, will arrive at your door in 3 to 5 days. We'll be publishing a Mind on My Money podcast a little bit later today. It's brought to you by Pinnacle Trust. They're based in Madison, Mississippi. They got clients in more than 20 states, advisors in multiple states. They provide detailed, specialized investment management, financial planning, retirement planning for individuals and businesses, and so much more. Pinnacle Trust, investing is treated like a commodity. Decisions made using objective information and research, not emotions. So regardless of your level of wealth, Pinnacle Trust will sit down with you, listen to your goals, study your expenses, and put forth a comprehensive, detailed financial and retirement plan built just for you. It's pintrust.com, PINN trust.com. Tell them that you heard about Pinnacle Trust on the podcast, and you'll get 10% off your first year's fee. I published a mailbag earlier today. It is brought to you by the Westin Jackson, home to Soul Spa, home to Estelle Wine Bar and Bistro. Next time you're in Jackson on business, or you're in Jackson when this whole damn thing's over with, and you just want to recharge your batteries, be a perfect place to go. It's the Westin Jackson. It's a Marriott property in downtown Jackson.
Podcast is brought to you by In-House Interior and Design, 662-681-6241. Again, that's 662-681-6241. If there's anything that you're curious about, they can call and text. They can do everything over the phone. You don't have to do anything in person right now with what's going on. So keep that phone number. Give them a shout. They're offering big discounts for new clients for whenever we do get back, hopefully in August, dorm room assignments and appointments and more. Again, there. So if you have questions, just give them a shout, and they will take care of you. That's 662-681-6241. You got something?
No, go ahead.
Okay.
I do want to talk about what I've never been one to defend Greg Sankey a lot. I do want to give some context to some of the things Greg Sankey said today, because I think it's important.
Okay.
But go ahead.
I was looking at Duvall's filmography, and talk about a guy who has something notable that you know him from in so many different decades here. When you look at his career, he had To Kill a Mockingbird in 1962.
Oh, wow.
He was in Bullet in 68, True Grit in 69, The Godfather obviously in 72, Godfather 2 in 74, Apocalypse Now in 79. He was in The Natural in 84.
Oh, yeah, he was in The Natural, wasn't he?
Days of Thunder in 90, Newsies in 92, Sling Blade 96, obviously a movie that most people still have on their minds to some point. He was good as in Gone in 60 Seconds with Nicolas Cage in 2000. He was pretty good in that. Let's see, just kind of reading through a little bit. Even as one of the parents, and I thought in Four Christmases that Vince Vaughn, Reese Witherspoon Christmas movie was pretty good in 08. And then he was in Jack Reacher. He was in that series.
How old is he now?
Well. Let's see. I'm on his filmography, so I need to back up. Robert Duvall is 89 years old.
Son of a bitch.
Yeah. Born in San Diego, 5'10". Been married 4 times, most recently in 2005.
It happens.
He was in the Army, private first class rank, retired. So anyway, yeah. I've got a little list here quickly, and then we'll move on to.
No, sure.
Turkey. No, you're good.
We had nothing but time.
Just little things that I picked out as I was watching the movie. I kind of had my Word document out, and I was typing or something. It opens in such a great way that it is like epitomizing NASCAR while being a NASCAR movie. We couldn't have seen more logos of businesses in that first 2 to 3 minute stretch where we're just going to flash all this stuff up here. We're going to show you where we're getting a dime off all these different companies, including a huge profile shot of a Confederate flag at one point.
Yes.
It did not go away. I mean, in 90, I probably wouldn't have even noticed it, but now it's like, whoa.
I know. I noticed it several times.
And then it was like a...
Yeah, several times.
Because when you watch that movie and you don't have any preconceived notions, so you would be a good candidate here, the way it kind of opens is so much of this, hey, NASCAR's a southern sport, and if you're not from North Carolina, you can't do it. And it almost makes you think they're going to do this, hey, Yankee coming to town kind of movie. And
because they had a little taste of that for a minute.
It went away, but right when he gets to the track to test in Burns' car, you think, oh, we're doing the California Yankee coming into Southern Territory movie. And then it kind of peels away from that. You don't really get it past that point.
Yeah. No, because he says, where are you from? And it's like Glendale. He's from Glendale. He says, so
he goes, is that next to Wilkes Bar or whatever it is?
Yeah, he calls him a Yankee. Yeah. And he's like, California's not really anything. Which is true. Yeah, no, it was.
Did it lose you at any point?
No. Nope. I was in. I'm telling you, man. I mean, my mental space. We've talked about this, and I've read people on Twitter some. This thing's gonna take a toll on people mentally, and I'm really in tune with kind of where I am mentally most times. And it was a really good distraction for me. I never got tired of it.
This might be a good exercise for you as we do this for a few weeks.
It probably will be because
we're gonna do Boyhood on Monday. And then
no, we're not. I woke up this morning, middle of the night, like a little anxious. I finished it this morning. It was perfect for me. I got through most of it last night, and then I finished it this morning early, and I woke up early with the stuff on my mind. Like I had read that thread that I sent to you with "This can't be right," and we were laying in the bed just talking, and I said, "Do we need to get a gun?"
You're expecting like anarchy?
Well, I mean, yeah, you start thinking about if some of the stuff that people are predicting happen, and I just, to Laura's credit, she's like, well, you got to stop. You got to stop watching some of this stuff, and we got to find other things and find a show and family game night, whatever it is. We got to get away from this.
One of my biggest nitpicks in this movie is there toward the end. She's been around him before. She's from Daytona, for God's sake. Nicole Kidman is wearing all white to the racetrack. She's in a white suit at the end of this thing whether she's leaving or staying, she's in the pit area wearing all white.
And how did he get so greasy?
Yeah, what was the deal?
What was the deal? Because normally a driver doesn't have grease all over him. Was there like a leak inside the car?
Well, because even if they had, I know he had some issues, but he wasn't out fixing the transmission when it got stuck up under the car or whatever the problem was.
He was just yelling at him because they had to beat the pace car out.
Yeah.
That was a funny line about hit the pace car.
Yeah, like that.
He's like, hit the pace. Why? And he says, well, you've hit everything else. Might as well be perfect. I liked that.
Well, and then you even give him, even though he turned into villain is way too strong, but Randy Quaid becomes kind of the enemy owner there for a minute, and then at the end he gives him the engine and he's fixing it or whatever. And
what are the odds of that in the real world?
Well, more likely since he did have you could maybe he had a heartstring and you went, hey, I wouldn't be here if not for Colt Trickle.
Right.
I got an engine, I've been in this, okay, whatever, but also NASCAR would have fined Russ Wheeler so much money for blocking him in the pit area like that, pulling in.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, you would have gotten killed right there.
Probably disqualified.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. So, all right. So, in the lens of now, not necessarily your mood, because I know what it is. What rating are you giving this movie? How do you want to do it? What do you think?
Are we giving it a 1 to 100?
I don't care. Whatever you want to do.
So we'll do
You want to do the Rotten Tomatoes thing?
Sure. I'd give it a 92.
92?
Yep.
For being what it's supposed to be. That's your big thing in movies.
Being what it's supposed to be in the current moment. Hey, I needed something to distract me, something to entertain me, something to make me laugh a little, something to get me invested, and it did all of those things. And I'm never going to hold a sports movie to you must be completely realistic to the sport.
Because if so, you're boring. That's not.
Because it's not possible. And so I'm cool with it.
We'll do series on a little more, not serious sports movies, but ones that get some stuff right. We might do Blue Chips, might do The Program, two off the top of my head that have some more underhanded elements that you do see in real college athletics. So this is not surprising. This was panned by critics. Days of Thunder got a 39% rating by critics.
Really?
39%.
What'd the people give it?
Only 60.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I thought that audience score was a little lower. Says Days of Thunder has Tom Cruise and plenty of flash, but there aren't enough to compensate for the stock plot, two-dimensional characters, and poorly written dialogue is where they go with this one. So, yeah, all in all, entertaining movie. It is a time capsule movie, really more of the 80s than the 90s. I know it came out in 90, but if you're putting together, hey, especially the late 80s, what was the late 80s like from a movie standpoint? This is one that could very easily get in the time capsule as it does this. Tony Scott, the director, passed away in 2012. He had quite the run. His credits include Top Gun, Beverly Hills Cop, The Last Boy Scout, Days of Thunder, and more for Tony Scott. So yeah, I don't know. Good movie. Again, we will move off to Fletch next. I'll figure out where it's at. I'm sure we can find it somewhere online. If not, it'll cost you like $2, and you can play along with us if you have not seen it. Fletch, the Chevy Chase vehicle, is from May 30th of 1985 is when it came out. So that's where we're going. Not only doing 80s movies, we'll branch out a little bit. Like I said, I wanted to laugh. I wanted to have some nostalgia, at least for myself, and that's what we're knocking out here as we go. So, Greg Sankey, what do you got?
Well, the big thing with Sankey today is he got asked a handful of questions about football. Basically, do you anticipate it? Are you worried about it? Are you whatever? His answer was, in a nutshell, I'm a glass half full guy. I'm wired to be optimistic, and we are planning on football season. And then he said, and a lot of reporters have left it there, and that is not fair to Greg Sankey. Because what he turned around and said was, a week ago, I was planning on the SEC basketball tournament. Mm-hmm. And he made a comment along the lines of, we'll see. Greg Sankey is no different than the rest of us. We don't know. We're all hopeful. We don't know. But he wasn't prepared to emphatically say, oh, yes, absolutely, we're going to have a football season. Let's go.
Nobody knows.
Because nobody knows. He did say, and I agree with this completely, and you and I have talked about this, and I've tried to convey this in writing. He did say that he was fully anticipatory that the NCAA would, if this thing dragged into the summer some, and then they got clearance, that the NCAA would be flexible as it pertained to allowing time for the kids to get acclimated.
Of course, yeah.
That they'll waive the old calendar for a year. that everyone's going to be cool. He was kept asking, is there any chance they have spring practice? And he was like, guys, there's a rule about 10 people. No one's ruling. He said it's not realistic. Some of the questions are, you and I have talked about this. It's people, they're just hoping. And I get it because I'm hoping. But he just didn't know. He's a very smart guy. He did a really good job answering questions today. And he's not afraid. And I have a lot of respect for this. He's not afraid to say the words, I don't know.
He's handled this pretty well.
He's handled it really well.
He's done a hell of a job.
He came back and he said, very clearly the NCAA decision a week ago to cancel all spring sports was a good one. It's the right move. It's not realistic that we could have played. They're turning all their attention to the fall. He thought that all of the spring sports, that they would work the scholarship thing out. The NCAA, again, he thought would be flexible. They would work it out. He wasn't sure what would happen with the winter sports. That was somewhere further back on the agenda. And, he talked about how there would probably be some flexibility with the fall if it comes to that. And he used the word that I would use about soccer, volleyball, any fall sport, including football. He used the word celebration.
What do you think? Do you think any eligibility should be restored for winter athletes?
Given the way I feel about this whole thing right now, my initial reaction is, But then I'm like, but if that makes people feel better and gives us some closure and we can be flexible, I don't want younger kids to get hurt by it. But if granting an extra year of eligibility to a kid who was going to get to play in the NCAA tournament and had that taken away from him and he wants to play, I'm fine. At this point, I'm fine. I'm cool. The kid at, I don't know, Chase, Miami of Ohio comes to mind for some reason, who's a senior. And I don't know, pick San Diego State maybe is a good example. Here's those kids over there. I don't know how many NBA players are on that team. Mm-hmm. But, they were going to get to play in the WAC tournament, and they were going to get to play in the NCAA tournament, had that taken away from them.
Sure, yeah.
If those seniors want to come back and have another crack at it, okay.
Well, it's like I know it was so basic, and it does not matter at all, and the NCAA ended up not doing it. And this is not a criticism. I wish they had put a bracket out. Because I think it had been nice for Dayton to be a 1 seed and be able to celebrate that they would have gotten a 1 seed or whatever. I do. I mean, I think the teams that would have gotten into the tournament, they could add a year to, hey, we made the tournament. We were going to be in it. We were an at-large bid. We were whatever. I would have had no problem with that. I think it wouldn't have been normal. This isn't about giving us a sense of normalcy, but I do think it would have been just one little extra layer to go, okay, yeah, fine. I mean, we're all kind of trying to make the best of the situation as we can at this point. This is one interesting thing here. I'm probably getting off Days of Thunder in a second. I almost got a Top Gun. It said Don Simpson was excited to be cast as a rival race car driver named Aldo and worked hard for the role. The problem was he had no acting ability and his scenes were awful. So a plan to have him as a major supporting character were nixed, and Simpson ended up having only one brief scene. Speculation afterwards held that Tony Scott shot the earlier longer scenes featuring Simpson badly on purpose so to be able to eliminate him or greatly reduce his acting efforts.
Oh.
One of the producers for the film. So just a little thing there. Again, just a complete cluster. Amazed that it got made. So had a lot of actual NASCAR drivers make cameos in it. Rusty Wallace was in it. Neil Bonnet was in it.
Yeah,
they were a pretty good many. So what are you laughing at?
I just laughing at all those old NASCAR names.
You a NASCAR guy back then?
Not really, but I've never disliked it. It's fine.
I mean, there for a while, it had some of the best PR of any sport in the world. I mean, it was booming.
It was number one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Found a way to make that son of a gun work. So
it's kind of the modern NBA.
Yeah, it was. That's what I was thinking. Yeah, there's a lot of truth to that. So, podcast brought to you in part by Community Mortgage, Oxford, Memphis, Soto County, and Chattanooga. Underwriting and processing is done in Memphis. They're getting local underwriting and understands your market. A leader in condo financing, the float down option, and more. 662-234-2704 or JLOWE at communitymtg.com.
As we've said for a while, when this whole damn thing is over, you're going to want to get the hell out of your house, pardon my language, but you are, and John Edwards of Regency Travel is going to be able to help you make the most of your budget. make the most of your time. Get in touch with him. Let him know kind of what trip you're planning on. Maybe you're planning on something for the holidays, just to get out of town, celebrate the end of this, hopefully. 901-494-3387 or send him an email, jedwards@regencytravel.net. First-time clients can save $50 off their first booked trip just by telling John you heard about Regency Travel on the podcast. We're also brought to you by Grenada Nissan. If you're in the market for a Nissan vehicle, Grenada Nissan's the place to go. They've got a complete selection of new and previously owned Nissan vehicles, great lease deals as well. It's GrenadaNissanUSA.com. Podcast also brought to you by Oxford University Bank, OUB, locally owned and operated right here in Oxford. When you deposit money at OUB, that money and the vast majority of the bank's profits go right back into the Oxford community. OUB offers its customers the absolute best cash checking account. It's called Kasasa. And with Kasasa, OUB will pay customers 2.5% interest on their balances up to $50,000 and refund ATM fees nationwide. To learn more, go to liveoxfordbankoxford.com or call 662-234-6668. OUB is FDIC insured. And we're brought to you by Bluff City Advisory Group. They're dedicated to building the future you desire. Founded in Memphis in 2019, their team is comprised of established and seasoned financial experts who came together to serve individuals and families of their beloved hometown. The firm is built on decades of wealth management experience, and they've seen it all. Their financial advisors have a reputation for professional excellence, and their clients rely on the high level of confidence and integrity. So whether you need guidance on developing a financial plan, creating a customized executive benefits program for your business, or providing a detailed asset allocation analysis, Bluff City Advisory will provide forward-thinking, cost-effective investment strategies customized to uniquely fit each client. 901-365-3447 or email Ben, B-E-N, at bluffcityadvisory.com.
So, last thing here, and I knew some of this. I didn't know all of it. I'd never really gotten in depth about Randy Quaid's legal issues over the years.
Yeah.
Have you heard all this? Remember all this?
Some of it.
So it started in 2006 when Quaid sued the producers of Brokeback Mountain, saying the film was a low-budget art house film with no prospect of making money, in order to secure Quaid's professional acting services at below-market rates. Obviously, it did make a ton of money. And then, starting in 2009, he and his wife were arrested for allegedly defrauding an innkeeper in Santa Barbara by using an invalid credit card to pay a $10,000 bill. They were ended up released and lack of evidence and stuff. In September of 2010, he and his wife were charged with burglary after they spent 5 days occupying the guest house in a vacant home they once owned in Santa Barbara. The Quaids claimed that the home was wrongfully transferred to a third party by the use of a forged signature. Warrants for the arrest were issued after they failed to appear in court. In October 2010, he and his wife moved to Vancouver, where they sought asylum protections under the Canadian Immigration and Refugee Protection Act, stating they feared for their lives in the United States. Border authorities arrested the couple for their outstanding warrants in the U.S. After they were granted bail, they gave a press interview, and later the couple's asylum-seeking story was detailed in an article by Vanity Fair. His wife, Evie, was granted Canadian citizenship in 2011 based on her parentage, and Randy sought permanent resident status as the husband of a Canadian. In January 2013, that was denied. They lived in Montreal for one point. They sued the State Department for revoking their passports in 2011. In 2015, their legal appeals in Canada were exhausted, and he was notified he was to be deported. 1 week prior to the deportation date, the couple drove across the Canadian border into Vermont, where they were detained by U.S. Customs. The couple was detained pending an extradition procedure ordered by the state of California, and eventually it looks like they are being allowed to stay in Vermont because his wife something or other.
Wow.
All that going on with Randy Quaid since he was Cousin Eddie.
He peaked at Christmas Vacation. Been a struggle ever since. I wonder what they do now. He ain't acted anymore, has he?
Let's see. Randy Quaid. His filmography ended in... he was in a... No, that doesn't count. Nah. He has not done anything since 2009 that was not previously recorded to some point.
Right.
Yeah. No.
He makes some residuals off Christmas Vacation, probably.
Oh, I'm sure about that. I mean, I'm looking at his filmography here of things that probably have some semblance of whatever today. Hey, don't sleep on. He was in Christmas Vacation too, Cousin Eddie's Island Adventure as well.
Have you ever seen that?
No.
It is hideous.
Like one of those worst movies of all time kind of
I
deals?
own it. I'll be happy to give you.
Whoa.
No, we have it because someone gave it to me as a gift. We have it. If you ever
have that movie?
if you ever want to suffer through it, I've got it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm looking
For as
here.
good as Christmas Vacation is,
Yeah.
it's that bad.
He was in Vegas Vacation from 97.
Yeah. Yeah, Corey Hamill on the thread says it's horrid.
He was in Kingpin. He was in Independence Day. He was in Major League 2. I forgot about that.
Oh, he was.
We could do Major League 2.
Can we at least do Major League 1 first since it's good?
There's no bigger sequel money grab in history, maybe, from
No.
Major League 1 to Major League 2.
And there's few
there's-
sequels that fall more than 1 to 2. 2's bad.
We got a third, too. We can do the Salt Lake Buzz.
That's awful.
Scott Bakula making his reappearance into society.
Just awful.
Is it Back to the Minors? Isn't that what it's called?
Yes. A complete disaster.
Yeah, dude. His career, there are a lot of misses for Randy Quaid in his career. He's in Caddyshack 2. You know, you got a guy when he's in Caddyshack 2, but not Caddyshack 1, and he was in Major League 2, but not Major League 1. You're a sequel guy when that's going on with you there. So yeah, I don't think this movie, like Bill Simmons does a thing where he goes, is this the apex of anybody's career? Frankly, it's a no, probably all the way around. Because it'd be Christmas Vacation for him. Robert Duvall obviously had a huge career. Kidman, it's a no, even though it's where she got her kind of her introduction into it a little bit, and then it's definitely not for Cruise because it was in the middle of that run. I don't know what you would give to Cruise for being, hey, when was he at his absolute most marketable? But it wasn't now. It wasn't this movie.
No, it was.
It was in this realm.
Yeah.
This Rain Man era.
Yeah. He actually was really good in Rain Man. That was a really good movie.
It's a great movie.
Yeah.
Rain Man is a terrific movie.
He and Hoffman were both fan. And didn't Hoffman win Academy Awards for that?
Pretty sure.
Yeah. He was incredible.
We could do Rain Man, actually. I really like Rain Man. I haven't seen it in a while. That might be a good one to do as we move forward.
That's a great movie.
We mentioned Phillip Rivers. He's a Colt.
Phillip Rivers is a Colt. Tom Brady's a Buck. Nick Foles a Bear.
Teddy's a Panther.
Teddy's a Panther. Bears apparently made a big run at Teddy.
The Saints bringing Malcolm Jenkins back, who they drafted. The
Oh yeah, saw that. Nobody yet taking rolling the dice on Cam Newton. You think he's done? I think you're probably right.
I do think there's a chance he's done.
No one has done anything with Jadeveon Clowney yet, to my knowledge.
No, did somebody sign him?
So the Bucks lost 7 games last season, Chase, by less than a touchdown.
Okay.
Does Tom Brady make that big of a difference?
No.
He's 40. What's he, 43? 42, 43?
The answer is no. He'll sell tickets. He'll give their fans
Well, no, he will definitely sell tickets.
He'll give their fans some hope. He's 42 years old.
42.
He will turn 43 before the season begins.
He will definitely sell tickets.
August 3rd, 1977.
Wow.
No.
So that division has 2 40-something-year-old quarterbacks.
First ballot Hall of Famers.
Yeah. Teddy Bridgewater.
Yeah.
And Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan's the worst quarterback in the division.
It's got storylines for sure.
A guy who should have won a Super Bowl a couple years ago is the worst quarterback in the division.
Yeah.
But no, I don't think it doesn't. To me, it does not elevate the Bucs above the Saints.
Oh no! Dante Fowler Jr. headed to Atlanta on a 3-year deal.
He's with the Rams last season.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, look, NFL free agency. I'm all about it right now. Give me anything sports related. I mean, on Twitter, I watched that stupid marble race the other day. Did you watch it?
No.
You didn't see it? Some dude literally took a bag of marbles and put them on the grouse, and like there was like little trenches built through the dirt, and like for minute and 45 seconds. I want to see what Marble
Yeah,
wins.
yeah.
I'm good.
No, I told you before we got started that normally NFL free agency, I'd be like, whatever. And now I'm like, oh, great. I mean, it's anything that feels normal.
I know, Corey, on the live stream. It's fine. I understand. It's where I'm at right now.
Yeah.
It's like the meme. It was on Facebook or somewhere or Instagram. I saw it this morning. It was a dude looking out the window, and he goes, "Day 6 without sports. I'm resorted to watching two birds fight over worms. The Cardinals leave the Blue Jays 3-1." Fair enough. Oh God.
There were some kids taking their bikes down the hills in our neighborhood yesterday. We were out walking, and I stopped to watch the two girls have the race down the hill.
Sure.
I wanted to see who won.
Yeah, I mean, I played golf yesterday.
I might have paid admission.
I know. I mean, I played golf yesterday, and it was just seriously like being outside and doing anything kind of sports or competitive related. I mean, talk about a mental break for a little while. It was so nice to just go, okay, this is somewhat normalcy. Now, we're not touching flag sticks, and we're not shaking hands, and we're careful, but
Dude, we're only 1 week into this.
I know.
We're 1 week into this.
I know.
And we're staring at.
The Fletch review will be Friday. I doubt I get that done by tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
There's just not much chance for that. Give me another day for that. So, anyway.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Georgia Rebel says Neal would root for the Cards for a day just so baseball could return. I absolutely. If you told me that the first game up was the Cardinals and somebody, I would be like, yeah. And I don't even think I'll have any animosity. I don't think I have any animosity for anybody now. I just will be so happy to have sports. Make me watch the Reds broadcast? Good. I got to watch the Cardinals broadcast? It'll at some point I'll get back to normal and get annoyed by it. But right,
even Tom Brenneman's not enough to get you.
Right now I would kill to listen to Tom Brenneman call a Reds game. You don't realize how much it is a soundtrack in your life.
No, there's no doubt about that.
It's a background in your life. Like, I anticipate a little depression, as everybody knows, March 26th. I'd been doing the countdown. I was excited. Cubs, Brewers. I was going to go cover the practice that day, but I was going to have my ear pods. I was going to listen to the Cubs broadcast while I was covering a football practice. And, I was going to tape the game so I could come back, and if they won, I'd watch it. And if they lost, I'd pretend that we didn't have it recorded. I mean, that kind of thing, and not having that's going to be weird.
Mm-hmm. So, all right, we will close there. I'll be back tomorrow morning. I have no idea. We will talk about something.
You see Matt Browning's comment? He said someone tweeted that KD saw Corona was winning, so he joined it.
It's fair.
It's really good.
It's fair. So,
I will tell you this: that I started playing on PS4 the MLB The Show.
Mm-hmm.
Last night I was the Cubs and I played the Astros. We were soundly defeated.
The Astros beat you.
Yeah, I'm not particularly good at it yet, and
they knew it was coming, so it's fine.
Yeah. Well, I tried to mix up my pitches, but I had Darvish. We did okay, but we struggled. I don't know what that was.
That was loud. Something upstairs caving in on us a little bit. All right, be back in the morning, and then again we'll talk about Fletch on Friday. So appreciate everybody in this afternoon edition. Be back in about 17, 18 hours, something like that. We'll talk to you then.